It's a 2023 Ford Lightning. We're going to put a radar detector. We're going to mount it to the mirror, and we're going to run the wire up through the paneling and then come around here. So the weather stripping, I already pulled this off, and it just kind of goes right back into place there, right? So this stuff comes off really easy. And then this panel right here snaps off. I started at the bottom and just kind of slowly popped it off. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clips. Looks like one baby missing. Let's see here. My little green clip might be missing off there. Let's see if I can find that. Okay. Nice sponge fill out. I'm keeping the tight quarters today. Put the sponge against the door. Okay. Fuse box. So there's this little panel right here, and you just pop it off. Boom. There's some fuses. What I need to do is find something that's switched. I get the multimeter and see which one of these I can find that's switched. So we're dealing with direct current here. We're gonna set it there. I'm just looking for 12 volts. Hope maybe you can see that. Anyway, this is all kind of easy stuff. Set it to work. The screen's getting longer. There's a nice little ground here. It usually is. I did the same thing in I've done this in a lot of cars. I did it in the Mach-E, and it was the same. That has power. That has power. Okay, the 5 amp does not. The 15 amp does not. And the 20 amp does not. I'm going to switch the power on the ignition. See if any of those are getting power now. Yeah, the 5 is, the 15 is, and the 20. All right, let's verify that if I shut the power off, that we have no power on any of these now. 5 is now off. 15, 20, okay. All right, so we can use any one of those, and I'll show you why. That's the kit I use, the radar mount. And it comes with a decent amount of wire and a lot of different options for picking what you need. So in this particular case, we're going to use this one. Now, what I like about this is you don't have to modify anything. This takes the place of the fuse that we remove, and the fuse that we remove will go in here. So the circuit is still protected by the same fuse. So we're going to pull probably the 5 amp. Looks like maybe the easiest. It'll still be protected by the 5 amp, and then our power wire up to our radar detector will be on this 5 amp fuse here. So all you've got to do is pull that fuse out, push the push the fuse into that slot there, and then plug this into the slot where you removed the fuse. those pliers. And there you have it. The one downside I did find with these little kits is once this fuse is in there, it's extremely hard to get out. Almost break them when they come out. A tight fit, which is good, I guess, in the world of electrical connections, but if you do something wrong, which I do quite often, trying to get it out of there is a pain in the butt. I had to use the needle nose just to get the thing to pop in there. Okay, so this will plug right back into that spot there, and that's it. Now I'll kind of show you how that sits. It sits right there. Now there is a fuse right up above that, and it's blocking it. If we ever have a problem, yep, that'll have to pop out to access it, that 30 amp above it, but we can live with that. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can, okay, so this is a good ground right here. And that is likely, no doubt, a 10 millimeter. Good luck finding the 10 millimeter. I'm not about to go out to the garage where I keep my tools and try to find the 10 millimeter. So what I'm going to do is just kind of unravel this wire here. And the wires that come in this kit are super long. And I've never found any car that I've put these in where I've needed such a long wire, but I suppose it's better to be longer than too short. Shut up. All right, we get it. Quick, just a plug right here. Snap that together. Get a good connection. Okay, so now we've got that, and we'll just connect our ground right here to that. Like I said, I think it's a 10 millimeter. I'm gonna just be a hack today because it's late. It's about 1 in the morning, and I'm super bored and it's cold outside. I'm gonna use a crescent wrench. I don't think I've got any sockets in here. I'll check. If I don't have any sockets, I'm using a crescent wrench. You'll just have to deal with it. If that offends you, scroll forward. Okay, no luck on the sockets. Found the ratchet, but it had a 13 millimeter on there. So, let's do this. We can use this crescent wrench. For this ground wire, it won't be a problem. Wouldn't recommend it if we were doing any real type of mechanical work, that's for sure. Certainly not a exhaust bolt or intake bolt or something like that. Or maybe you can, I don't know. Do whatever you want to do, I don't care. All right, let's see here. It looks like, okay. So there's a plastic sensor here, and what I want to do is get this underneath, I believe. Is that going to give me a good ground? Modify that a little bit. And I want this sandwiched up against the metal of the vehicle. Verify that real quick. That's going to be smashed up against a clean piece of metal. Looking good so far. I'm going to do a test. I was installing some security cameras earlier, and it tells you, it prompts you when you power on the hard drive to hook up all the cameras first and make sure you don't have any problems, because if you go through all the trouble to install something and it doesn't work, it really sucks. So here's what we've got to do. Before we waste any time, let's get our wire, get our radar detector, plug it in, make sure it works. This is my Escort Max Cam radar detector. It's my favorite brand. I've got a couple of, well, this brand. This one happens to have a camera built in, and then there's an SD card on the side. It records video. I like it. I never see anything cool. One time I saw a guy just kind of driving down the road and he hit a concrete wall, which, I mean, it's not really cool, but I did get it on camera. All right, power on.
Powering down.
Okay, we've got kind of a weak ground connection there. All right. Okay, let's see what happens now. See that there? Yeah. Okay.
Powering down.
Switch off. Perfect. Okay, so we'll tighten this back up. Nice and tight. All right, good deal. We'll leave this part open. We're gonna have a lot of excess wire, so we'll probably likely bundle that up, zip tie it, and then tuck it down out of the way where it's not vibrating and rubbing up against stuff, which can happen, especially if you keep the car for a long period of time. This is an electric car. Who knows how long it'll work. Just while I'm running this wire, I'll tell you, I have a Mach-E also, and I had it for about 2 weeks and it broke down. That was in December. They still cannot fix it, which is extremely annoying. They still want you to pay for it. You still have to insure it. So you get to sit there and pay for this car insurance while it sits at the dealer. And the sucky part is, and I've got a good relationship with that dealer, the sales guy is super cool. It's my friend. And I asked him when the hailstorm came through if they could do anything about that, because the car's just kind of sitting out there. And if the hail comes through, well, hail damage, and then it's, you know, it's my insurance. So he went out there and tried to move it, and the car won't even, I mean, it can't do anything. It can't even power on the headlights. All right, so I just kind of, this is, I mean, there's so much room up here that you can run the wire through. Right? And we're gonna go, what I'm gonna do now is just test how much slack I need up through here real quick. This molding just pulled all over the place. That just fell behind the seat. That's super annoying. Okay, so ideally your plug will be, this wire. Ideally your plug will be here, Ooh, that leave us a whole lot of room to put that little connector on there. Yeah, they did. Okay, so there's a wire here on the lightning, and it's clipped, and then the mount can go right behind it. It's not a big deal. Ideally, the wire will just sort of dangle right here, and then you plug it in. You take your radar detector out anytime you go anywhere, because people are thieves and they like to steal those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of start tucking this into the panel right here. I have plastic panel tools. I don't know if you'll be able to get those on camera. Just doesn't damage anything, but tucking it up in the headliner. And then I'll run it down through here, right through here. Very easy. And then down behind the channel where the weather stripping goes. This is one of the plastic tools that comes in the little, you get everything off Amazon, but plastic auto trim tool, and it comes in a little kit. I don't remember how much it was. It was likely not very expensive. Where'd my wire go? Okay. This upper part by the headliner, I don't know if you can see it, it just slides right in there and it'll stay tucked up in there. Just kind of use your hands. It'll fall right inside of there. So it's just tucked right up inside of there. It stays there. And this will just tuck right in here. Just like that, see? Nice and easy. You'll never know it's there until, I think there's an airbag in there. So if you get into an accident and the airbag blows, that wire may come out and hit you in the face. Small price to pay to protect ourselves from the speed traps. Let me think, these are radar detectors are legal in all the states. I don't even really speed, but I like the reminder sometimes, just in case. I will get into a hurry sometimes and catch myself going a little bit faster than I prefer. So and then of course, as I tell you, I don't really speed, right? I don't speed on purpose. That doesn't make sense either. Sometimes I speed, and I like this to remind me to slow down. I don't try to speed. It just comes natural. Okay. We'll pull the slack down through here. And that we can address in a minute. Okay, so this is, I said okay, so Okay, so like cheese. Okay. Weather stripping. Try and one hand this. Just put it back on. If your car is relatively new, this comes on and off real easy. So if your car is old, it probably still comes off easy. But it may be dirty, so you may have to clean it. And actually, I'm gonna do this panel. I'm gonna pop this panel back on first because the weather stripping sits on the outside of that. Now I don't know about this middle one, if there was a clip there or not. I couldn't find it. It's a Ford, you know. Maybe it was never there. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I like Ford, but it's not like they get everything right. And I don't think that's gonna be a problem at all. We'll snap that into place. Get our light here and check. Okay. And then we've got our wire tucked up into here. Up there with the side curtain airbags so that if we get into an accident, the wire will come out and hit us in the face. That's what we want. Weather stripping just was nice. I did a couple of these. Let me check the fitment down here and see what we're looking at here. It feels a little lumpy. That's actually looking good. That looks good. I did a couple of these on Audis. SQ5 and then an e-tron GT. And it was a little bit harder. The fit and fitment's tight on those cars, but still not a problem. Let me show you. I did the one on this car also, and this is a really cool car. And it's 1 in the morning, so my wife won't know that I'm touching it. It's her car. She doesn't like me messing with it. She did want the radar detector in there, but you can kind of see how it's tucked. This actually. So you kind of see the mount, focus, and mount right here. And then everything's just tucked up into here. Same thing with this car. Like I said, the fit and finish on something like this Porsche is a lot tighter. So it makes me real nervous to pull this thing apart. But same basic principle. Just wire that up there. The fuse blocks down there. So there's not a key in here, so I can't show you. Okay. So before I get in trouble, I'm gonna get out of this car. We'll go back to the Ford. Okay. Here we are. We have the weather stripping back in. What we need to do is just clean these wires up down here now. And it's really easy to, there's a lot of space down in there where these wires can sit. The more secure they are, the better. The more secure, the better. The less of a hack job, the better. We like them nice and secure with a nice zip tie around those. So let me grab a zip tie. Okay, zip tie right around the wires. Go ahead and clip that off. Here, clipping the zip tie and not the wire, which is something I actually did a couple weeks ago. I clipped a wire that I wasn't supposed to. And we can just kind of tuck these wires right up into there with the other ones. Alright, so good picture of kind of how that is there. It's just tucked down in there, the ground wire, power wire. It's good enough. Okay, then we have our panel. And the panel just sort of snaps together. There's a little snap if you get it lined up. There we go. Okay. All right, good positive snap. Awesome. Check this out. Okay, here's the, I guess it's sold as a set. Usually come together. Radar mounts. So this is the actual amount, and you could actually use the one that comes with the radar detector if you want to, which may be preferable, but this is South Texas, and I find that the suction cup, anything on the windshield, if you leave your car outside, it'll get real hot and it'll fall, and it's not, I mean, I don't know, it falls on the dash and leaves a mark, scars it up. I don't particularly like scratches on my interior, so we try to avoid that. All right, this one comes set up and ready to go for the magnetic type mount, which is, should have a tool in here also. Where is it? It's in the bag. Set comes with some longer bolts if you've got a large mounting area, meaning the rearview mirror is, there's a set of longer bolts to accommodate that. I have never had to use those, but I do like to take the tool and double check down here and just make sure that these are tight, because sometimes they're not, and then they wobble loose as you're driving around, and that becomes annoying. Everything is annoying, so that's good. All right, so this will basically go over the rear view mirror post, and then we'll slide the bolt on the other side and connect it. Let's see if we can get that here. There we go, all back together, and our wire is all nice and concealed up in here, and this is the final product, sort of what it looks like there. It clamps on, and these are, I guess my only complaint, you have to really torque these down with your fingers, and if you get real wild with them, you can strip it out. This is a relatively heavy radar detector as well, so big bumps, if you're driving down the highway, you get some potholes or some real rough road, it'll start to sag a little bit, but it's easy to adjust. So now that we've got that in, we can turn our truck on, and there we go. All ready to go to remind us to not speed. I think that's about it. And if anybody's wondering what this thing is, I'll show you. If anybody's ever seen these things online, the Magic Box, that's what they do. They let you bring up YouTube or whatever else. Doesn't it's not the most fun to watch. You can't watch it really while you're driving, unless you want to crash. But there's a lot of videos that are just podcasts or stories. And that is it. That probably took maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. It's relatively easy once you find your fuse box. The only other thing I've ever struggled with in some cars is, depending on where the fuse box is, trying to find a good grounding point, good solid ground. But other than that, we're ready to go. We're powered up. We're gonna go do some driving, towing the trailer. We may go pick up a car on the trailer and see what we get on the mileage counter. So anyway, hope this was interesting. If you have any questions, let me know.